I like having my gavel. All right, are we ready? You folks ready? You folks ready? Good, good, good. All right. Good evening, everyone. I would like to welcome you to the July 22nd Board of Supervisor meeting for Halfmoon Township. I'll rise if you are able for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And we'll just do a quick roll call so we know which supervisors are here this evening. It looks like Supervisor Strauss is the only one not present.
And just checking on Supervisor Beck. Can you hear us, Chuck?
You have me there?
Yep.
We do.
Excellent. Okay, thank you. Let's see. We'll start with some opening announcements. Denise?
Yes, usual opening announcements that this is being recorded live on CNET's YouTube channel, and anybody who pre-registered will also receive a link via email after the meeting. We're asking for township residents to sign up for news alerts as well, even if they've done it in the past. You can go on our homepage and click on the Contact Us button. We also have some vacancies on our boards and committees. If you're interested in serving the township, please contact me or go on our website for more information. And we also have Movie in the Park night coming up. It will be August 14th. Everything starts at 7 and the movie will be shown at 7:30. You can get some popcorn from the Lions Club and some drinks as well. And we'll be showing Raya and the Last Dragon.
Fantastic. Very excited about that. Make sure to splash it on all social media all the time, many times. Good. Next up is an opportunity for citizen comments. So if anyone has any comments that are on items that are not already on the agenda, now is the time for that.
I will offer that there was written comment provided. It is included in your packets. It is from Cindy Hall. She lives off of Hummingbird Lane and wrote a letter to the supervisors asking that a sign be placed at the Smith Road and Hummingbird Lane intersection. She was not happy with Scott's answer or my answer, and so has come to basically petition the board regarding a sign. I can show you, I took a video today with Scott, what we're talking about. She believes that there's a blind hill.
And really the issue is that she had noticed, and she said drivers have chosen to pass vehicles. I don't know how many drivers that is. I live off Smith Road as well. I have not witnessed anyone passing in that double lane area, and if anyone does, I'm not sure a sign is going to stop them.
Yes, and so going the speed limit, I drove by this about 3 or 4 times in different directions. I will show you this quickly. But you can see we're going, like we had just turned left onto Smith from 550. As you approach this hill,
It is, it's, yeah.
but you can see very clearly here on the right, that stone lane is Hummingbird Lane.
Which one?
Coming up right
Just-
now.
Right.
Yeah, so there's, I don't see a
Right
sight
there.
distance issue or anything going back. We went the other way, there's no sight distance issue coming that way either. We also contacted the state police to find out if there were any problems in the area or if there was a need for a sign that they were aware of there. And they basically said that it's a no passing zone. Like I said, it's a double yellow. They're not going to be enforcing anything unless they see something actually happening on that or there's an accident there.
Does anyone have any comments or think
The only
otherwise?
thing I noticed is when people come out to the end of Smith Road to go on to 550, apparently we must have a sign up that says, "Right turn, keep moving," because nobody stops at that stop sign.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a roll through, it seems like, yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah. But her concern is that she had witnessed somebody passing someone on that road.
Which would be a foolish thing to do.
Very
anyway.
foolish thing, exactly. And like I said, if someone's dumb enough to do that, they're not gonna pay attention to a sign.
And that's kind of how we felt, between the speed limit sign, the double yellow lines, and it's definitely
Did she
no
say
passing.
she recognized the vehicle or anything?
No, but she said there's been a whole bunch of near misses and feels there's gonna be a fatality there soon.
Yeah, I don't know that legally we can do anything.
Bike riders,
It's-
I mean, that is a nasty.
It's a
you can't
nasty
see-
hill,
you
yeah.
can't see
It's
it.
not as nasty as it used to be.
True.
Do you
Really?
remember before we cut that hill down?
Uh-huh.
Because we moved, I forget how many hundred cubic yards of rock off that hill to
It
get it
used-
smooth. It used to feel like you just got the wheels pulled out from
Yes.
underneath of you when you went over that.
It was similar to the, near Trotter Farm.
Yeah.
That hill as well.
Yep.
You could make a nice
Like
little jump off that hill.
Three really bad spots in
Yeah.
the township have been cleared up. I mean, there's not a lot we could do. We did everything we could do. But that doesn't account for people's bad behavior,
No.
so.
And that's kind of what we did now. Scott and I talked about it, and we did put the speed sign there, so it's set to go off if you're speeding there.
Right.
So
That's a
that
good
might,
idea.
we put it there for a
I
little
think it
while
might
to
make
just help.
people aware of how fast they're actually going.
Right.
That's the best solution I can provide right now, because I don't see the need for a sign there, or it's not really a blind hill. When you
Where-
can see clearly
specifically where
from,
she's
coming
talking
from Hummingbird Lane, the
Yeah.
site
And
is
I don't
fine.
know
if
that
that's-
legally-
I'm sure that it is blind and when you're coming.
When
from
you're
the
coming
vet
up
office.
to it, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know that legally you could put up a no passing zone sign because it's not like you're going from passing to no passing.
Correct.
The whole
And
road's no
right.
passing.
And that's what I looked up as well. It turns out that there's actually, the PennDOT has a handbook for, it's called Publication 236, and Section 2D43 deals with the fact that you can put these passing and no passing zones, but we don't have a place where that, on that road, that there's a passing zone.
Right.
So it's not necessary to put up a no passing zone. It's implied by the double yellows.
Yeah. And I hope it wasn't a resident who lived up in that area. That's my residential area, and I hope that we all recognize that there are tractors and there are farm activity that happens. And, just be patient, people. Doesn't take that long to wait a minute.
Not going anywhere that's that important.
No. So, would you like me to respond, since she did write me a letter to me as the chair, and I can respond also potentially on behalf of us?
That would be good.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any other citizen comments? Anybody online?
Yes, I believe Virginia Squire just joined us.
Hi, Virginia.
Hello. Is that Dave? Hi, Dave. Hi, Danelle. Is that Danelle?
Yes, it is.
Hi. So has the meeting started? I'm a little confused as to,
Yes.
I couldn't get in right away.
We're in
Yes.
citizen comments.
Oh, goody, because I want to make a comment.
Perfect timing.
So I am involved in an organization called BARN, which stands for Building Anti-Racist Neighborhoods. And we are holding an event in conjunction with Halfmoon Township that is a township meet and greet. It will be Sunday, September 12th from 4 to 7 at Municipal Park. We are thinking that we're going to have an informal pet show. We've invited the Port Matilda Fire Department. We want to have information about the BARN group and how to make our neighborhood welcoming and inclusive. We're also going to have information on volunteer opportunities for the township. The Lions Club is going to be there. SCLO Library is going to be doing a story time. We're hoping that we can take orders for the fire department numbers, the number signs. We're also going to have voter registration information there. Nittany Greyhounds is going to be there, Scouts. And so we're asking nonprofits in the community, or nonprofits who function in the community, to come and be present. We wanted to extend a formal invitation to all of the Township Board of Supervisors, as well as I've been trying to get a hold of Ron Cervello. So Ron, if you are listening, we would like you to be there as well. But I just wanted to let you know that this is what we're planning, and see if you had any questions, and say that Denise has been incredibly helpful in getting us getting me organized, et cetera, getting us organized. So do you have any questions for me?
That is wonderful to hear. What's the marketing effort to make this more aware to the Stormstown residents, Halfmoon Township residents?
We are about to put it on the Half Moon Neighbors Facebook page.
Awesome.
And then I don't know. I mean, there are avenues available. For instance, we could put it for free on WPSU, but that extends beyond Half Moon Township, so I'm not so sure about that.
It's on our calendar.
I'm wondering about perhaps getting a sign that we could have at the entrance to Half Moon Township, the way we do for Riff Raff Days,
Yeah.
which is my favorite day of the year.
I would consider asking Brothers and Way Fruit Farm if you can post in their areas as well for traffic.
That's an excellent idea. Thank you. I will.
Oh, we lost your sound for some reason. Are you there? Oh, I don't think we can hear you, Virginia.
And
There we go, she's back.
it'll go from 4 to 7. So I just think that we need to get, the township is doing some pretty amazing things, and building a strong, inclusive neighborhood would benefit us all. So
Thank you very much for helping organize this. I'm excited that Denise is involved too, because part of our strategic plan actually is citizen engagement. So, you know, other than the helping keeping the operations of the township running, we also want to make sure that we're engaging residents with each other and with us to keep our community nice and happy and healthy.
thank you, Danelle, for reminding me also, if anybody who is listening is interested in more information or getting involved, my last name is Squire, and there's I'm in the phone book. Oh, although most people don't know what that is, but but they could contact Denise and she can relay the information. Sorry, Denise. Look me up on the internet. I'm there. My last name is spelled I-E-R, not I-R-E. So, but I would love to have, we're also going to try and reach out and see if we can get people involved in a Half Moon Township sort of welcome committee for new neighbors who move into the township.
Fabulous.
So if any of the Board of Supervisors has ideas of things that we should do, please get in touch.
Excellent. Any comments,
Okay.
questions? Thank you so much, Virginia.
Thank you,
Okay.
and have a good meeting.
Thank you. All right, any other citizen comments? All right, we'll move along to the approval of our agenda for this evening. So you all see what the items are on the agenda. Are there any changes that either one of you or Chuck would like to make to the agenda? If not, we can take a motion to approve.
I move to approve the agenda.
Thank you. Second?
A second?
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no.
Aye.
Okay. We will move along to subdivision development plans. Is there an update for Maloney's
I
Half
did-
Moon Acres plan?
I did not receive anything back when I asked for an update from his engineers
Okay.
and from him, but I did receive a letter from the from the Center County Conservation District that is a notification that their NPDES permit,
Can you tell what that
which
is? NP?
it's National Pollutant, it's basically
Okay.
when you move
Sediment
earth.
discharge elimination.
Thank you.
Thank
and
you.
all that stuff.
When you move earth, you need
Ah.
to have if you disturb an acre or more, you need to have this permit. And his permit expires December 13th of 2021. However, there was this beautiful little note that Zeb Smoyer from the Conservation District spoke to Mr. Maloney, and someone will be pursuing a permit renewal on his behalf. So this was more of a formality. That's kind of where we stand. As of now, the plan still will expire January 31st of 2022.
Okay. So if we get more updates, we'll get more updates, okay? Next up, we have approval of the minutes from our June 24th meeting.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes from the June 24th Supervisors meeting.
Thank
I'll
you.
second it.
Thank you, Dave. Any discussion, corrections, additions? All those in favor of approval, say aye.
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 Thank you. All right. Minutes approved. The consent agenda is a list of items for bills that were paid June 19th through July 2nd, and also July 3rd through the 16th. If no one has any particular items to pull out of that consent agenda, we can approve that all as one motion. As soon as somebody makes a motion.
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you, Patty. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Thank you, Chuck. Alrighty, let's see, we have no old business and new business. First up is the mid-year financial report.
Yes, so I am going to pull up what I'm used to seeing, because this will help me. But in your packets, I have budget versus actual for you. This is for the general fund. And I can show you that the very first thing we're going to look at is our income for, or revenues for, compared to the budget for
Madam Chair.
2021.
Are you thinking the same thing I am?
Probably.
I realized I skipped over one of our guests here, and I was wondering if we wanted to have him speak before we get into our other agenda.
I'm sure he's a
glad we-
busy man.
Beyond that, I mean, your budget's your budget, I'm not.
No, I apologize.
The budget may take a while.
Oh, okay.
It's funny, we were like right on the same wavelength, because I realized I meant to address you during citizen comment. Why don't you come on up here and give a report? I apologize, I'm sorry if Denise,
No, it's perfectly fine.
don't
If
want you to
look-
have to sit here longer than you need to.
Well, thank you.
Shirley did send us something. This is Jack.
Yeah,
We're introduced-
Shirley's
Yes.
my wife, so.
But there is something in your packets under.
Thank you. So you could just go ahead and introduce
Okay.
yourself and.
My name is Jack Bonsall. I am one of the officers at Port Method EMS. I'm a lieutenant at Port Method EMS. Just very briefly how our situation works over there, our hierarchy. We have two divisions basically. We have operations, which is handled by a captain. I am the second, which is a lieutenant. And then we have our administration officers, which are consist of a president, a vice president, secretary, and treasurer. So I'm here on behalf of Port Method EMS, speaking as the lieutenant. And if you look at the package that I have put in there, basically when my wife spoke, it's Denise, right? I'm sorry. When my wife spoke to Denise, she just kind of wanted an overview of where Port Method is for the year, and bring that to the meeting. I am more than happy to go over every item that I put in this bullet points. If you would like, I was prepared to do that, but also in the same venue, since you have a lot, if you have any questions you would like to pick out directly, I can answer them directly. That's not a problem.
And of the bullet items here, I'm looking, I know you're currently down to one ambulance. That's an
Correct.
issue for you, right?
Yes,
now?
that is correct.
Okay.
Just to give you an update on that, if it's not been brought back or not brought back correctly from the COG meetings, the ambulance that we had been forced to get rid of in the last year, we've probably put $11,000 worth of money into it to keep it on the road because we couldn't afford a new one. We had it back, it ran for a week, and the turbocharger went out on it, and we were told it was going to be another $5,000 to fix it. So at that point, the decision was made to just go to one. So we did one. And there may have been questions from citizens in the area. There was probably a month-long period that we had a Center Lifelink ambulance. As soon as we got rid of the ambulance that was our problem child, we had to have some repairs done on the in-service ambulance. We thought it was only going to be a couple days based on the estimate, and it ended up being a month. The cost was not that much in comparison to the other, but it was a time, correct. And we had to borrow an ambulance from Center Lifelink for that. Yes, we're down to one ambulance.
And I'm just looking at the volunteers, so you have 2 volunteers, 9 paid employees.
Correct.
Is that normal, or what would you, what's
That's-
optimal? What is optimal for you?
Up until about 3 years ago, it would have been probably 50-50 or close to 50-50. In the last 3-4 years that I've been there, it's going down to where we are now. So optimal, we just can't get, I think I mentioned it before, but it does remind everybody, or to reiterate it, the biggest problem with the volunteers is that in the past, you could get a basic life-saving certificate and a CPR certificate, and you could be one of our drivers. Medicare, Medicaid, which drives the bus for our payment, said you can't do that anymore. You need an EMT and a first responder as a crew, or 2 EMTs. So the state, in its infinite wisdom, also went with, now we're going to go with a national certification program to be an EMT or paramedic or whatever the levels you're going to be. And the national cost to be a nationally certified EMT is about $900 to go to class and do your class for 3 months. Once you do that, then if you stay as a national, every 2 years, you have to go out on your own and do 48 hours or more of con eds, which costs you money. So what we find is that there's not a lot of volunteers that want to take on that cost. As well as, you see, we have 9 employees. We're looking to try to hire 2 more, and you see what we pay. And to give you an idea, just for Center County, we pay less than most of the services in Center County, but on a comparison level, which your next level will be paramedics, they're even paid less in Center County than some other counties. So it just is cost prohibitive for some of our people paying $9 or $900 and then to get $10 an hour. So,
Yeah,
so
okay.
The ambulance you're looking at buying, is that a diesel ambulance? Or
that is a gas engine.
gasoline engine?
Yes, yes,
It's not a turbocharger, I hope.
that is correct. Not a turbo.
Yeah.
Not a turbo.
Not a good idea for the type of use that you have.
No, actually, the ambulance that we had looked at, I don't know what municipality it came from. We're looking to get it from a company called Fund out in Pittsburgh. We do know that all the miles that are on it have been city miles, so it's used to stop and go traffic, and it's held up pretty well. Everything that could be replaced on it within reason has been replaced for sale. So and we actually got a chance to look at it, and it seems like it's in pretty good shape, and that it should hold us for as long as it takes for us to be able to continue to acquire a new ambulance. So
Very nice.
This is a temporary Band-Aid kind of ambulance.
it is a temporary Band-Aid, that is correct, and I can't say that if funds came forth on this and we purchased it, that in 2 years we wouldn't be in the same boat that we are right now. I can't say that, because it's a 2010
Yeah. You
ambulance
never
with
know.
150-some thousand miles on. So, or excuse me,
It says 180.
I misread my own notes. 180, yes,
There's a
180,000.
lot of mileage.
Yeah.
A lot of heavy vehicle.
That is correct. That is correct.
And I know in the past, we try and do what we can to help promote membership and donation fundraising. How is that going for you this year?
This year, actually, we had one of our best fundraising years our membership years that we ever had. I apologize for not having the exact numbers, but I'm thinking for some reason that when I ran the numbers, we were about 30% higher than we were before. That our numbers came in, I think those numbers were run in February or March, and I don't remember from that conversation.
Okay.
Can you tell us approximately how many members or memberships you have? Yes.
We send out, I can tell you, we send out close to 5,000 membership forms, and we get back about 480 on average of that. I think last count, we were close to 500 out of that we got.
How many did you send out? I'm sorry.
5,000.
About 5,000.
About 8% or so.
Now, this year, we did pay extra to have a second mailing, which was never the norm in the past. This was the first year that we did it. And I think that's why we boosted our numbers a little bit, because the second reminder came out, and it seemed to help. I won't know until we would compare it to, say, next year if we did it again, if that really was the case, or there's just more awareness now that we've been trying to get out in the communities more and make it aware that we need some help here.
Right.
So
And we'll offer again anytime if you have any physical papers, now that we're actually gonna have a couple events here, you know, possibly that community meet and greet that we're gonna have.
Yes.
We could have a stack of them. Feel free to drop them off to Denise at the office.
Okay.
So we can help promote that way as well.
We'd actually like to invite you to come to that
Yes,
as a, like,
if you
touch a
want.
truck.
Okay.
We do realize
Yeah.
that's according to call volume and everything.
That's fine.
But we did ask the Port Matilda Fire Company to join us as well, and they'll
Okay.
have a fire truck so
Yep.
that people can see what is available to them.
Right.
And also then you can describe, you know, here's what you get with a membership. I have a couple of quick questions
Go
for
ahead.
you. So, first of all, litter transport,
Yes.
can, all I can think of is kitty litter. I don't know what, I don't know what
Okay.
litter transport is.
When I was writing this up, there was somebody brought up, are you using terms with no disrespect that everybody can understand, and I thought I did, but litters, what happens is that if you have a patient that's non-ambulatory, whether it be from residence to a doctor's appointment or to a hospital, non-emergency, they have to go for appointment, for a physical appointment, or a patient that's going from the hospital to another hospital, where they can't sit in a wheelchair and they can't sit in a chair or anything like that, we do a litter transport. It's basically a litter transport.
Thank you.
Yes.
And then I can see here, so for a temporary fix, it looks like this 2010 Ford 450, this used ambulance is going to be purchased. And then you're looking for, are you looking for the re-chassied ambulance or a brand new? Because there's about a good $40,000 difference there.
Yeah. We were not particular when if we had applied for grants, which you see a note in there, there was a couple grants that came in, and had we been able to either with funding and a combination of grants, and the best we could get was a re-chassis, that's what we would go with. We're not looking for new. With a re-chassis, what happens is that the big box on the back, they take it off, and then we just buy a new truck or, you know, whatever to move it. And then the chassis or the box is put back on. We've been blessed that our boxes have been very good size to work in. They've stayed in great shape, that if we had a situation where we could buy a chassis and have our box transferred, we would have done that in a second, because there's a lot of room, it's a nice box, so, but.
And then, do you require, so, I know just enough to be dangerous. An ALS and a BLS person in transport?
No. Port Matilda is licensed with the state as a BLS service.
What's
They-
BLS mean?
Okay, basic life saving.
Thank you.
And it's basically an EMT.
Okay.
They can handle, just to give you an overview of it, they can handle basic life saving. You fall, possibly break your leg, they can splint it and so forth. If you're short of breath, but you're not in distress, they can handle things like that. ALS is advanced life saving, and that's where you have a paramedic, and a paramedic would administer medications and that type of thing. We're not licensed to do that in Port Matilda.
My base understanding was ALS pierces the skin.
Correct. That's correct.
Okay,
That's correct.
cool.
And if we have a call that something like that would be needed, then we have to get an
Center
ALS,
Lifelink.
Center Lifelink, Shannon Valley, AMED, somebody that has a paramedic on staff. So,
And do you cover the entire township? I had asked for coverage maps and I just wasn't sure if it was
Yeah.
full coverage of the whole township.
yes, we cover all of Half Moon.
Excellent.
Do you go into Patton Township at all as part of your regular service? Okay,
No.
it just stops at the township line.
Yes.
How about Warriors Mark?
Yes, we do parts of Warriors Mark. I can't speak, the last time we met with Warriors Mark people, I'm not sure what level they were on, there was a concern that their main service agency had slow response times, that we could get there faster. So there was some discussion that they wanted to rewrite the way their boxes, which are boxes, the way the county sets up our dispatch, the way the box is redesigned so that we would go further into Warriors Mark, actually to the borough. I will say that we did mail memberships into Warriors Mark with the anticipation of being able to do that. But that Blair County side hasn't been they haven't reciprocated as much. We do get dispatched into Warriors Mark, We have gone into right downtown Warriors Mark, but that has been as a second due situation when the primary couldn't get there.
I'm just trying to determine how big your service area actually is.
We cover the far end of Ferguson. We cover Half Moon. We cover into Warriors Mark, parts of Warriors Mark, which we go out as far as, I don't know the roads, but if you come out 550 and the road makes a left, goes down, makes a right.
Dry
makes a
Hollow or
bit-
Dungarvin, yeah.
Right in that area, we typically go to. We go as far as parts of Taylor Township, kind of the county line area in Taylor Township. We go north into, it's Worth Township, but we go north into right there where East Mountain Road crosses over. We don't go to the top. And then as far down in Houston as the glider port.
Okay.
So that's our
You
area.
got a
Pretty
pretty
decent
big
area.
coverage.
We do.
Yeah.
And then we have a great working relationship with Center Life Link and Bellefonte, that they honor our memberships as we honor theirs.
Oh, lovely.
So if, for example, it doesn't happen often that I can even think of recently where we go into Center Life Link's area, but we've covered a few times for Bellefonte because they've been to the hospital and haven't been able to get to Unionville or those areas. We've gone down and picked up, and their members can still use their membership with us and vice versa. So.
Very nice.
Does that matter if you're first on the call or second?
Nope. Nope, doesn't matter.
Good.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Because a lot of times what happens is that we're second due down there and we still honor the membership, so it's not a question that we have. And we've never had anybody question us on it, that if we've been on a transport and Center Lifelink's had to come over, when when Center Lifelink knows that it's one of our members, we get contacted about it, so.
Very nice.
Where's Center Lifelink out of? Or is that the Alpha area?
No, Center Lifelink is right down there, if you go past
Are they
where
still up near where the mall? Up
as you're
that
going towards the
area?
mall, you go past where the treatment plant is,
Yeah.
go down there a little ways, and it's to the left, it's right off the road to the left there, off 26.
Out on the other side of the hospital?
Yes.
Yes, yeah, they're 2 minutes, 3 minutes from the hospital.
Okay.
Jack, what can we do as a board or as a township to help increase your membership or help make your jobs easier?
That's a good question. The memberships, I think that what you offer to do with note in your bulletins, public awareness, opportunities that you may have where we could be present to explain how our memberships work would be helpful with the memberships. We send out the memberships every October. We start sending them out, and we go October to October with that. And as far as making our jobs easier, I think the best thing right now is that you brought up, and I told you about the signs. I think the signs were an excellent idea because at night especially, it's very difficult to find some houses where somebody may need our help. I used the example with you that so there's some places that have a cul-de-sac and a group of mailboxes, and we have to figure out which house is what, and there's nothing to direct us to that.
It's hard enough in the daytime.
Yeah.
Hard enough in the daytime, that is correct, and at night it's even worse. I do want to mention, though, if I have a moment, that with our memberships, just briefly how they work, because there seems to be a lot of confusion, and it's pretty straightforward. If you buy a membership from Port Matota EMS, and we pick you up and take you to the hospital, you still need to submit it to your insurance company. If your insurance company says, we're only going to pay, let's say our bill on this is $700. If the insurance company says we're going to pay you $500, we write off the difference as a member, okay? If insurance says we pay you $700, then your membership really didn't help you, but we got help because we got the full amount. So that's how our memberships work. If you call the ambulance and you say, which we get sometimes, I think my blood sugar may be low, would you check it for me? We go out, we check your blood sugar, it's fine, and you say, I'm not interested, I don't want to go to the hospital, and you get a refusal signed, you still have to pay a refusal fee, which is $100. Your membership doesn't cover that because it's a non-emergency, or it's not an emergency transport. Any questions you have?
No, you're good.
Oh,
For billing wise, I mean, I'd love to talk to you and see how we can figure out a way to make this more efficient.
The billing, I can tell you, the biggest problem that we face with billing is that the insurance companies have this system called in-network and out-of-network. And if you are in-network with an insurance company, what they do is if I pick you up, take you to the hospital, $700 say, and the insurance company says, you're in-network, you signed a contract with us, you're gonna take what we're gonna pay you. So they pay us, say, $500. They don't have a membership, we take the $500. We're not allowed to, by law, at that point, to go after the patient for the difference because we were in network and the insurance agreed to pay us $500. Well, the insurance companies got wise and realized that most places were selling memberships. So what they decided to do, rather than pay us the full amount, they decided to pay us what they wanted and let us go after their patient or their client, our patient, whatever you want to term it. And that's really been what's hurting us as far as income coming in, is because we're only getting what the insurance companies want to pay us. We do experience where the insurance company says, I will pay the patient the full amount, and they can pay you the full amount, and at that, we run the risk of getting paid or not getting paid.
Right.
So, and that is probably the biggest part of our payment, is that whole thing that the insurance company is doing. And we've met with several people from Harrisburg to discuss that, and to my knowledge, it's still sitting dormant somewhere. It's not being worked on. So.
All right.
And I am passionate about this because I grew up in this area, and when I got involved in this, I realized that I want to keep the doors open to help those that are sick. And I know how sick people can be because this is my professional, real job. I do it every day, and I just want to make sure that we're open. And there's nothing worse than I can imagine than a family member being, at the far end of Half Moon, and they're in cardiac arrest, and they've got to wait for Center Lifelink or Mashana Valley or AMED because that's the crew that's available. We can get there and start CPR and start doing basic life saving until we get a crew there that's more advanced that can pierce the skin. So.
And I will say that we definitely have some passionate residents who always promote when the membership drives come out.
Yeah.
They post on the Stormstown Neighbors Facebook page, and we try and make the announcements and do what we can as well. So we'll continue to do whatever we can to help push that.
Thank you.
Sure. I appreciate you coming down.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. If you don't mind, as a follow-up, you just send Shirley the details on that. I want to make sure. Thank you.
Thank you. And I realize we should have taken a look at that to officially change the order of the agenda items. Thank you. So I apologize, Denise, for doing that out of order.
No, that was good.
Okay, so back to our financial reports. Thank you, Denise. I'm glad we didn't get too far into that before we
Me too.
recognized. Yes.
Okay, so what you see is different, and I'm going to kind of go through and explain this. In the past, what we've been using for all of our accounts was the system that was set up by all the previous managers and anybody who's been in the book. So there were a lot of line items that were, I would say, superfluous. So what we did is we went ahead and directed everything into line items as they are in the DCED reporting, and kind of made it a little bit more concise. So it's a little bit easier to understand. It'll be even easier to understand when we break these down further. I am used to seeing it into smaller pieces, so I'm going to look at the smaller pieces so I can describe the big pieces that you're looking at in your packets, and that is available to the public on the website. So I broke it down into two items: our current budget versus actual in revenues, and then our current budget versus actual in expenses. Dave, specifically for you, the first chart, if you look, everything in the blue is our budgeted items, and everything in the orange is our current level of income. Taxes are split out into those 5 categories. So it's real estate current, real estate delinquent, realty transfer tax, earned income tax, and local services tax. When you kind of look at it as a whole, you can see that due to the millage increase, the real estate current is almost perfectly collected at the 7-month mark. So we'll probably go a little over on that, which is fantastic because that will make up for the loss that you're seeing in the earned income tax. When we did the budget in 2020, we took the DCED recommended amount of 25% reduction from the
remember that.
previous year and cut our projection for earned income tax to that. From that amount, it looks like we've collected about 75% of that at this point. We'll probably get another 20% in there, somewhere in that realm.
So close.
So, yeah, so EIT overall for this year will be down somewhere between 20 and 25%, which is good. That's what we budgeted.
Okay.
So we're not hurting too badly there. The other taxes are fairly in line with where they should be at this point. We'll continue to receive some real estate delinquent tax and realty transfer tax and local services tax, but nothing too big. But that gives you an overview from the two major taxes that you can see and how they're kind of balancing each other out.
Excellent. So this kind of proves that our planning was almost spot on so far.
Yes.
Okay, excellent.
Now, moving down the revenue categories, you can see that licenses and permits, we're doing fairly well in that, and that's also, keep in mind, we increased our fee schedule, and now we're actually charging for the services that we're providing. So that has been helpful. If you look at federal entitlements, there is a large orange
Yes.
bar there. That is the American Rescue Plan funds. That was not budgeted for because we didn't know we would be receiving that, but
Yep.
that is our first payment. It is about $148,000 that we received. Based off of my initial calculations, I believe we are able to take the entire $297,000 that we have and put it into our general fund as lost revenue. Now, I have to do some more reading. We have to wait until the final rule comes out. Right now, the interim rules are kind of being posted. The comment period ends on Friday. But because the park loan from 2019 is used in the calculations of our typical income, it skewed our typical income calculations so high that it looks like we just lost a bunch of money the last couple of years, which made it so that our calculations mean we can put all of the money into our general fund. How that would then be spent, I'm not sure about how we need to do that, but I believe we'll be using that for some road projects, from stormwater projects. There's a couple of little items that we can use. I asked our auditors to take a high-level overview because it didn't make sense to me as to why that money was so high. Why, in fact, we had lost revenue above what we actually received, and everybody else in the municipalities didn't. And they said, yep, that's exactly why. It's because of that park loan. Your
Interesting.
base calculations look okay. So we'll see as that continues, but I want to put it out there. There are 4 buckets that we can put that money into. I'll have more on that later, but
And only certain things that we can spend it on, correct?
yes.
Right.
So that's very limited as
Right.
to, like, we can't spend it on pensions, you can't just spend it on payroll, you can't, there's very limited things that you can spend these funds on. And some of it is stuff that we might be able to do, some of it is stuff that we don't have. So, we'll get to there.
And reminder too, there's a certain time frame to spend the money?
You have
that correct?
until 2024
Oh, okay.
to spend it, to commit it,
Commit it.
and then 2026 to spend it. But all your contracts have to be signed by 2024.
Okay.
If,
Patty.
and we could prioritize some of this stuff, of course, but is one of the possibilities to pay towards that park or to pay what
I
we're
can't
planning
use it that
to do?
way.
I don't
You
think
can't
so.
pay
Nope,
toward,
it's out of the available ways to spend the money.
even though that was what skewed our
Yep,
income?
we
can't put it
cannot
towards
spend
it,
that
but-
money on paying off the park loan. There are very, very specific rules about what it can be spent
Can
on.
we use it to put towards this, to creating a new, or to refurbishing this park?
Possibly. I had planned on using quite a bit of it for road and stormwater
Sure.
issues. We do have a lot of stormwater problems within the township. This summer has been the year of rain, and a lot of them are coming to head right now. So
Sure. No, I understand, and it could be prioritized that way, but I just wondered if that was a possibility.
Yeah, we can't pay the park loan, no matter what
No.
angle I try to take, there's no way
Okay.
to do it.
But we might be able to use it towards this one if we got to the point where we had extra based on,
Yes, technically, you
Okay.
might be able to.
okay.
The other large thing you're going to see in the revenues is the budgeted amount for local government grants. It has a large blue bar. It was budgeted, but we've received nothing. That was the 62,000 that we applied for the county grant that we did not get. And so we said if we didn't get it, we wouldn't do the road project this year. We didn't get it. So
Okay.
that's going to, it just shows up there as being budgeted, and you'll see a blue bar there for a while. Overall, we're doing quite well for where we are in the year. I would say, of course, the numbers look skewed because of that huge chunk of money that
That's
we
all right.
received, but this is a good trend. Brett and I have talked about it. We're happy with where we're trending for revenues.
You guys have any other questions or concerns about revenues? Chuck, anything? Okay,
Okay.
next.
Then moving on to expenses. You have a chart which breaks down everything into its line item and its DCED number. So you can see the actual numbers there. And then you have this beautiful chart where the green is what has been budgeted, the yellow is what year-to-date is expended. There's really not much to note here. Other than, everything's basically half. That's because a lot of this is salaries, benefits.
Operational
Yep,
things.
exactly. So a lot of this is just at the half mark for those things. You will note, highway construction has a large green bar. That is the corresponding one to the blue bar for the 62,000. So we
So
don't have that expense because we didn't get that income.
Gotcha.
But if that's road work, we can use some of our grant money towards that, right?
Yes. Yes.
Or our, whatever, relief money, yeah.
Just an interesting point here. Oh, the interfund transfers, that's also, that will be the 30,000 that gets transferred and the 37, so that goes to the park loan and to,
Sure.
what is it? Capital equipment.
Yep.
There we go, thank you. I'm actually gonna have Brett do those at the next one, so that when we do our budgeting, it will show up in the numbers, so you'll
Okay.
see it there already. And the last thing I just would like to note is if you look at highway construction, parks, and libraries, I'm just gonna point out that we spend almost 4 times as much on our libraries as we do our parks. And our library amount is almost the same as our highway construction amount.
Okay. Are there any concerns? It looks like most of the items are about half. We're halfway through the year. Do you have any concerns about any of the budgets, knowing anything else happening from now till the end of the year?
No, we will receive another injection of funds from ARPA, but that is loaded in its own account. I have been very, very, very frugal on legal because it
Yes.
got cut a lot. That is not going to last.
Right. And it looks like we're about 50% of what we budgeted based on these expenses. So how are you feeling? But you've been frugal, is what you're saying.
To the point where it might actually be hurting us.
Okay.
But
So-
we haven't had a snowstorm yet this year,
Correct.
and we've got a lot of rain, we could have flood damage. We may yet have things that we're gonna have to spend money on infrastructural wise that
True.
we can't foresee.
Yeah.
I will note 2 things I feel are important to note. Our road crew has been very cognizant They have no overtime expenses as of right now.
Excellent.
They have been very cognizant of their schedules and a flexible work schedule. So when something happens with these rainstorms, and if they're coming in on the weekend, they're adjusting their schedules.
Beautiful.
So that we're not paying overtime right now.
Perfect.
So that's been helpful. I'll also note in your income, line item 364 for sanitation. If you look, we budgeted $200, but it's over by 1,000. That is the hard work of riffraff and selling scrap metals.
Ah,
So I'm just going to say that it's not huge, but
Still.
that was a lot of work, and I just wanted to acknowledge the road crew's hard work on that.
excellent. Okay.
Denise, back to what you said about legal services. It sounds like with the relief money that could offset possibly some of the road projects and things, I don't like the statement, like, you bring frugal almost to our detriment. I think that, and if the money's there, do we have to, like, increase the budget, or can you spend, be a little less frugal when it comes to legal things, since it sounds like we're okay, or do we have to do something formally?
I would just ask, as we approach the budget season, that it not be slashed so much this year, especially because we've got a couple of things coming up that are going to be.
Right, but I'm talking even before that, like in the course of this, what's remaining of this year.
So basically, if we run into things and
Things,
you need
can
to
you-
spend this money and we go over budget, can we
I think
rub
it's
from
okay.
Peter to pay Paul in the budget? Basically.
From ARPA funds? Or just,
No, they would offset something else, if you were using those for road work, or is that not yet this year that we would be using
I don't
those?
plan on spending those funds this year.
This year, okay. But it sounds like we're still healthy enough that if you need additional money for legal, that we shouldn't be super
We could use
frugal.
existing
Yes,
money.
yes.
Okay.
I'm pretty confident in where we're sitting at this point. I will tell you, we are operating lean,
Mhm.
and I mean lean.
Mhm.
It's going to be a hard road to get us back to the point where we're flush with cash and can make purchases without debt. But we'll get there.
Okay.
But yeah, this is lean.
Mhm. Okay. Any other questions, concerns, anything else of note that you would like to share with us? This is wonderful to see in a
Yes.
much easier format for us to not have to read through, a bunch of
Spreadsheet.
lines in a spreadsheet. This is much easier, exactly how I would like to see it. I don't know if Dave, Chuck, or Patty, do you have any other comments?
I'm very happy with
Yeah.
this format. And I know that the board did a lot of hacking through previous budget things with the minutia, but it definitely, it's nice to see everything's hanging pretty good, I think, and I feel pretty solid about where we're at. And if we need to pull some money out of something else to cover legal costs, if we get into a problem, I know we can do it. It's not, we don't have to run to the bank and go borrow the money to pay the bills. So, very good. Well done, Denise.
Staff.
Everyone, yes,
Staff.
everybody.
Everybody is putting effort into this, and I think it really needs to be acknowledged because everybody's watching their pennies now, and it's so helpful. It's so nice to be able to administer a budget when everybody's on board.
Yeah. Thank you and everybody in the office and Public Works for doing all of that to tighten the belt as much as we can to make sure that we are healthy financially.
Yes. And this wasn't technically planned, but I do want to say, next meeting I'll give you something formal, but we do have a 1 in 5 road plan complete.
Lovely.
A 1 in 5.
Road plan.
Rather than do a 1 in 10, I didn't understand why we were doing a 10-year road projection in the past, because that changes significantly in years 5 through 10. Using the robotics program that we have, I sat down and figured out what I thought were my priorities for the next 5 years. The roadmaster sat down, did what he thought his priorities were, and the engineer did his. Then the roadmaster and I got together and looked and matched up. We had one argument. He won. We went out and drove a road, and he said, let me show you why he won, we changed that around. We met with the engineer and gave him ours, and he gave us his, and then we had one argument and
Excellent.
checked it out, and now we have a data-driven, backed-up, 5-year road plan.
Fantastic. And hopefully money to get some stuff done.
Now knowing that I think we could use some of this,
Yeah.
we might be able to even accelerate some
That's
of that.
fabulous.
Because we didn't do a road project this year
Right.
to try to save some cash.
Yeah. Good.
So that will be forthcoming.
Very nice. Okay.
Great.
Any other comments, questions about the financial report status of where we are?
Looks
All right. Excellent, excellent, thank you. Next up is permission to advertise meeting dates for the fiscal year 2022 budget. So hopefully you all had a chance to look at those meeting dates and check your calendars.
Yes, I will note one thing when I find where this all is. Why do I do this?
Too many things.
And it's the mouse, it's just not having the mouse. Here we go. Looking at the proposed meeting dates,
Mhm.
Cindy Hahn let me know that they will not be able to attend Monday, October 18th as a proposed date. They've taken on, congratulations CNET on taking on another member.
Well,
And
very
as
nice.
such, they now won't be able to attend that Monday meeting.
Okay.
So we can,
So,
I will let the board know that I am not going to be anywhere near here on any of those 5 dates.
what?
Yeah. Which may be good for you guys.
No! You
What do you
need
have,
to be
big
here.
vacation?
Well, I mean, it's October 12th to the 21st, which is roughly a week and a half.
Is that, are you gonna be away?
I'm going to be away, so I'm going to try to be away. Doesn't mean I'm necessarily going to be away, but I'm going to try to be away. I mean, I'm not going to be in the county or the state.
Okay, so you're away.
Yeah.
I will be remote if I need to be the 20th and 21st.
So, I know Denise is like, oh, what do I do?
You could back it up a week earlier, or we could do it a week
A
later.
week later? Is it gonna be too tight? Now, also, are these dates somewhat in some kind of alignment with the COG budgeting?
yeah.
Somewhat?
This is all kind of designed to play out.
By the 25th.
Yeah, and so also then with the advertising, so you can see there, the idea is we get it done in the first 2 or 3.
I'm gonna make a suggestion.
Go ahead.
I don't see that, at least from my standpoint, that I'm gonna be as fiery about things as I was last time. And the reason being is because we amended the budget, we took care of it, we could see that the township is still going. And what I was afraid of course, I didn't know the government was gonna be printing free money and handing it out by the tons, none of us did, but, you know, it could have been a real serious disaster, like half the revenue that we normally get. And in a normal world, it probably would have been. So, I mean, I understand, you know, I'm still gonna be Mr. Fiscal Conservative when it comes to this stuff, because it's not my money, it's the public's money. But I think probably the board is not that far off from where I'm looking at. I still don't like the Center Region's budget, and I still don't want to fund some other stuff out there. I'm not so concerned about the fire company, the ambulance company, you know, paving the roads, day-to-day operations, employee salary. I'm not going to give you static about that. It's when the money goes outside of the township is when I've got concern. And I don't know that we're getting the best bang for our buck. Maybe we are, maybe that's the best we can do, but
Some of those items too, I'm trying to think of the changes, if anything was decided to change, we would make a decision at the end of the year for so it wouldn't impact, I don't think, correct, this budget coming up, it would be the next one. Is that correct?
If you would decide to modify any of the COG programs through withdrawing,
Right.
you would need to notify them by the end of this calendar year. We would be obligated for
The next year.
the next year, but then not the following.
So basically, if you had any other concerns, a decision, we have till the end of the year.
Right.
Basically, it wouldn't
But
really be impacting
As long as
the current
sufficient
budget.
revenue is coming in, and we don't see anything really horrible on the horizon, you know, I know there's items that we need to increase spending on. I know there's some items we could probably cut. You know, I'm not really happy we didn't do any paving this year, but, you know, given the circumstances, I don't think we had a choice. And personally, if we could cut our citizens' taxes a wee little bit or something, if we know we're gonna be okay, I'd like to do that. I'm just saying, throwing it out to the board. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just me talking, so.
And so you don't think you're gonna be able to attend any of these?
Well, I know where I'm gonna be has no service, no cell phone, no nothing.
And that's a lovely thing.
That's,
So
that's
just
a beautiful
keep it-
place in Wyoming, so.
Oh, I love Wyoming. Keep it, okay.
Good, good.
Well, I was actually wondering if something later, only because if we have a couple meetings and we have our discussion, it'd be nice to give you a summary and get some
I mean,
feedback
I
if we
can
have a couple
call in
issues.
from a hotel or something when I get back to civilization, that's fine.
I would like to have you. To have an opportunity, just in case anything comes up about particular, you know, topic, line item.
We could keep the 12th and the 14th, right? You said we can't do the 18th because there's no CNET. Do we have to have CNET, or that's just what we've been doing?
I think we could,
They come, so we have it.
but I mean, if, we could skip that meeting probably.
Couldn't we throw a week, you know, an evening in the week before at some,
Just gonna say, do you
I
wanna
don't,
do the 7th?
What day are we leaving, Dave?
well, that's the thing, right now, I don't know, because I have to get a phone call from the rancher, so. But I know I've got to be there around the 12th and 13th, so
God, you're killing me.
You're driving?
You wanna do the
Yeah.
6th?
it's 3 days out, 3 days back. And I don't drive as fast as I used to.
No need to, take your time.
What about the 6th? Wednesday, the 6th?
I can do that.
I can do that. I don't see any reason why we couldn't have one meeting and probably get through most of it.
We did that last
And-
time.
We, took us 3 meetings last time.
3 meetings last time.
It did.
Yep.
Yeah, but last time was a
Last time
different
was a lot.
situation.
We had a lot.
And you were changing formats and.
I changed it again.
Different manager, different
New tax.
personalities, different concerns, COVID-19 epidemic. I mean, it
You guys
just,
don't wanna do all that again?
no.
Okay.
Yeah, I do think, I would like you to be involved in at least some part of the discussion to talk about any particular
I think
items. It would be
in a
nice.
couple, 3 hours, we could go through on the 6th and probably cover all the bases. You
Yeah.
probably know how I feel about it anyways.
14th may possibly be done.
Yeah, we could be.
Yeah, but we'll advertise for the 20th and 21st.
fine.
Just because it's always less expensive to advertise
Yes.
all the meetings
Yep.
and then cancel, right? So I'll cross off Monday, October 18th, and we'll replace it with Wednesday, October 6th.
At 6 PM.
Yep.
Okay,
They're all at 6?
yep.
Cool.
6 until whenever. Okay, excellent. Okay. So, let me get back to my agenda. Memo, here we go. So you need a motion, right?
Yes, please.
I'll start the motion. I move that we permit staff to advertise the meeting dates for fiscal year budget as Wednesday, October 6th, Tuesday, October 12th, Thursday, October 14th, Wednesday, October 20th, Thursday, October 21st, all starting at 6 PM.
I will second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chalk?
Okay, not hearing anything, we have at least 3 ayes, so that motion passes. You can advertise those dates. Thank you. And Thank you for being flexible, and thank you, Dave, for being flexible. Okay. Next up is permission to advertise a streetlight ordinance change. It's a little bit of history here. This is an update. You okay to
Yes.
give the summary?
Absolutely. So if you remember a while back, we had a discussion about, a resident had come in and was concerned about his taxes, and the board agreed to, refund him for the streetlight tax he was paying. At the time, it was decided that we would just refund him. However, because there is a report that the tax collector needs to provide to the county, as of right now, that report and the requirements for that report will have the same situation happen next year. So what we're looking to do is actually correct the ordinance as written, and that way we can advertise it and have a public hearing and make the modifications so that when the tax collector fills out this report, it actually has the correct parcels and everything listed, so we don't have the same problems occur next year. If you recall, there were very minor changes. It had a lot to do with the fact, I do have a red line version here. It had a lot to do with the fact that when you go down here, the parcels were listed and the road, the foot frontage of each was listed, and then it went through and talked about the assessment costs. Well, that's all changed. So we eliminated all that, struck it out, and just said that it's located within the village of Stormstown between this tax parcel number and this tax parcel number. And we'll be using the front foot method and assessing it based off of actual taxes from the previous year and charges from the previous year.
All those parcels don't get charged the full amount. It goes from a starting area to a finishing area.
That's correct.
So if half of it's outside of the finishing area or whatever, then they don't get assessed for that half. I'm talking about a large parcel, one of the farm parcels.
Oh, yeah, so how they do it is,
Can you throw the map back up there and then?
yes. Just really quick, we added the severability and repealer clause then as well. The map, Dave, yeah, so
So
as
between
of,
the red dots, is
yes,
that how we're doing it? So,
essentially, yes. However, I asked CRPA to put those dots on with geolocations, but it's the parcel numbers. So this kind of gives you an
Well,
idea, but it's the parcels.
I guess my question is, on the old Graham farm up there, should be the upper right-hand corner of the map.
Thank you.
There's a, the stone house sits there, and then the Graham farm sits there, and half the Graham farm is completely out of the lighting area. So are they gonna be assessed on that piece from the dot down through the lighted area?
Oh, it's assessed off of the foot frontage for where the light hits.
Candle
Yeah.
power, okay.
So it's,
That's basically what my question.
we're just highlighting which parcels it is, and then they have there's a sheet calculation, and we do that, but the problem is some of these got subdivided, so parcel numbers changed.
Yep.
And they have A's tacked onto them or B's, and some of them just flat out changed. So,
And we don't need that level of detail in the
Right.
ordinance.
no, and
You don't
that
need to
was.
sell me, I move, we vote to advertise it.
Sweet, hold on, I wasn't ready. Okay,
I'll second that.
thank you. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Chuck, you there? Okay, we got 3 ayes, nothing from Chuck. Okay. That is passed. Thank you for doing that. We already had Port Matilda EMS discussion. Next up, we have Treasurer's Report, Tax Collector's Report that Brett emailed to everybody. Did anybody have any questions or concerns? Or is there anything special of note that you wanted us to know about, Denise?
No.
Okay.
The ARPA funds is the only thing that
Okay.
kind of makes some of those numbers skewed right now.
Okay. Let's see, Building Zoning Report, there was one item on that. I don't know if anybody had any items or questions for that. Public Works. And then we'll let you chat about your manager's report.
Yes, there's a lot going on. Okay, we went over movie night, we went over the lost revenue. We're working on creating a new, what they call welcome packet or map. The last time this was done was 2008. If you kind of, it has like a directory and this fun map of the township roads along with the advertisers who have paid for it. We just signed a contract to have a company come in and do this. Now, it is free because they solicit the ads, so there's no cost to the taxpayers. They do require that you send one to everybody in the township, which we just so happen to have that mailing cost built into this year.
Lovely.
So, fantastic. Just wanted to update everybody that that will be coming out and part of the new resident packets that we're looking to do as well. These will typically last 2 to 5 years, but this one's lasted a little longer. I have Sophie Dillon is a Girl Scout. I've been meeting with her. The brick that I had brought, which I think is now back at my office, that said Halfmoon that was engraved. We had talked about doing that for memorials and everything. For her service project, we have a meeting for next Tuesday. She has an idea of what park she wants to do and a design. She will be doing the entire thing for her Eagle Scout Award, I believe.
Lovely.
So everything down to budgeting, execution of it, and so,
Wow.
yes.
Is she?
get a report?
Oh, yes.
Dave, how are we on the same wavelength? That's
I
kind
don't
of
know,
odd,
just
right?
sometimes it happens.
That is weird. I was gonna say,
Full
is
moon?
she gonna come here and present to us and?
Yes.
Wow, sorry. Yeah, it's strange. Fabulous. Yes, I want to see her here presenting, and I want to see what's going on.
Okay. Good. You got the stuff with Barn. I've been working with Chief Witherite at Port Matilda Fire Company for their budgets. So what's funny is their budget's going to look very similar to ours in layout and format. We completed the 5-year road plan. The auditor proposals have all come in. I will be emailing those to you along with the scoring sheets that we will be going over at the second meeting in August. So I'll be sending those out shortly, and you'll be receiving those. Also, the draft COG program. Dave, you have your papers. I'll be sending the rest out electronically. At the end of the week, there's supposed to be a comment guide that will come along with that, but I encourage you to all provide your own comments on that. It's very readable this year, and it's been reduced greatly in the number of pages. Other than that, there's just a lot of stuff going on for planning. We're working to get those address number signs complete, so that I've been working with a vendor. I have a meeting with him tomorrow. The cost of the signs will have $1 going to the township, $1 going to Warriors Mark, $1 going to Port Matilda Fire Company, and $1 going to the EMS.
Lovely.
So a $4 markup for helping save someone's life
Very nice.
and supporting fire and EMS.
Very nice.
You have a sample sign?
The mock-up will be available tomorrow. I will send it to you.
Are they green, the same as
They're
Warriors
green
Mark?
with the right reflective.
White letter?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm going for the double-sided. I also want to see if the vendor will provide posting.
Oh, a little something. to
Yeah,
put it on.
if there's an additional cost for
Why
that.
did I think that those were required?
It is required under our township regulations ordinance to have a number, house number on our house.
But
And that
not
went in
the-
back in 1993, I think. But we don't have the reflective signs like Warriors Mark did that, I don't know,
Yeah.
15, 20 years ago. And it did, I think it's kind of started out slow, but.
Yeah, it's picking up.
Oh, yeah, it's
Yeah.
great now because, well, their 911 addressing is very confusing over there. It's
Oh.
totally different than what we have here.
Interesting.
So you come up to a private street and all of a sudden you have them like numbers in the 4,000s. And the way Center County did it is every 2/10 of a mile was 100 block, I think. And so we're a little different. So if
Yeah.
you started back Hummingbird Lane and you were only like a couple hundred feet back on the right, your number might be 11
Oh, interesting.
instead of 4,011.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it would definitely help our EMS and fire companies when they cross those lines if you can see the numbers.
Definitely.
Are on board with this
That's
and I want to
excellent.
support this because they said that that's their biggest problem is at night.
Wow.
You can't see the house. It's
Right.
not a house from
Nope.
the road, because a lot of our houses set back in.
Yep. Okay.
I have one attached to my fence post at the end of my lane, so, but it's nice because if I got friends or somebody coming up and it's nighttime, you can see the number and you
Yeah.
know where to turn.
I have it on my mailbox too, but I don't have a green reflector one. I just have these little sticker reflector ones, but, okay.
They're nice and bright.
Yeah.
If it's the same kind, so.
Anything else for your manager's report?
Just one other thing, in order to help support our firefighters, I looked into Act 107, I think it is. Staff looked into, there's a way you can get an income tax credit to volunteer firefighters to help support them. The short story is it's a lot of pomp and circumstance. It basically will never be more than like $100. And it's a feel-good ordinance. It requires a lot of administration behind it.
Isn't the state helpful?
So was super excited about that. But if anybody ever asked, I even talked to the other managers in the area and they all said, that's an administrative nightmare. Why would you even do that? Just give them $100.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe there's
Much
something
easier.
else that we can do to
Still-
assist. Like pay for training for our EMT and our
Something.
firefighters?
Still
Possibly
looking
with COVID
for
money?
all different kinds of ways to support our first responders.
Good.
I'm always talking to them and working with them.
Excellent. Okay.
We can do some of that.
Any other questions or comments for any of the reports? We can move along to our supervisor reports. Bob's not here. Patty, anything finance related for us yet?
Just working on the, on the budget, and the draft, I mean, managers have received the drafts, right? Yeah.
And it's
easy.
very nice. It's very readable this year.
Yes. Yeah, we went through a format change also, and, yeah, and we're working on the SIP, but, yeah, if you have any questions, let me know, but I think we're good.
Anything of interest in facilities?
No, our facilities coordinator is plowing through. He's
Doing a good job. man.
doing a good job, and he's gonna have the 2 more reports ready at our next meeting here next week. And we've been working on, Millbrook Marsh has been a big
Mhm.
issue, or not issue, but
Yeah.
that, and, no, but things have been going well. And I don't have anything specific. I will not be here the 4th Thursday of August or September.
Okay.
You're not,
September.
well, not to ask too many questions, but you're not gonna be here, I guess, around. So if we moved it back to the first, used to be our second Thursday of the month, would that help you or not?
It might.
We might be moving to 2 meetings again. It was a nice little break.
I don't really wanna go back to 2 meetings,
I know.
but it is nice to have a full quorum if we can do it.
For August and September, I would be around for the second Thursday, but not the 4th.
We're having the second meeting, or the first meeting in August, and the second meeting, so both.
As activity kicks up, we'll have to meet more.
I'm okay with making a change to that. I don't know how everybody else feels, but, if it can work for Patty, I'm okay with it.
Well, she said we're gonna have them both, so.
Okay.
We're
Okay.
definitely having them both then,
At least in August.
in August.
Probably in September,
Okay.
but we'll play it by ear then.
All right, so that's it for you, Patty, right?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. For me, we did not have a public safety meeting or still yet to be determined name of the combined Transportation and Land Use and Public Services and Environmental Committee. Again, I think it's one of those things too. It's not a monthly needed meeting. So I hope they go to like a quarterly type thing. We'll see. So for the climate action and sustainability, though, there is a lot of activity around that, and more will be coming to us. I hope you all received, and I encourage you to look at the information, please. that Pam sent as a summary to the public forum and the survey responses around climate action, that she and her team of folks who do this do a very good job of taking a lot of complex related information and providing it in a digestible manner. So I highly recommend take a peek at it and see what the results were. There's some interesting things there for us in townships, possibly not heavily in Half Moon, but there were a lot of public concerns around homeowners associations and what they allow or don't allow as far as helping with sustainability efforts like solar panels, things like that. So there was a lot of very interesting comments and things and results from the community, so I encourage you to take a peek at that. More will be coming though, because I think there's going to be some things that are come for review and discussion that we need to then provide back. I think that's coming next month. Denise, do you remember, was there anything else the managers talked about?
Out of curiosity, is the solar power purchase working group still
They are still
meeting? Since
active, I
that's-
think.
Okay.
Why am I blanking on Peter's name? Yes, Peter presented something, I think at the last forum meeting or two
Well,
forum meetings ago?
At the COG meeting, we decided on extending our current purchase. Remember, we made some decisions on the current
Yes.
power just to go out to another year and a half, I think, or 2 years. And then that would be about the time we'd be ready for the solar,
New purchase,
to
yes.
purchase power. It just
Yeah.
takes time. There's,
Yeah, a lot of people involved.
The managers talked a lot about the COG building
yes.
issue. A lot about it. And I will say that we have a recommendation that is going back to finance and facilities, so.
Yeah, that was a
Nice.
topic at both of those meetings, but, and then I believe Adam was at the one where they realized that the question we really wanted from you guys wasn't really what was addressed. We wanted all to be handled the same on the books to figure out what way that should be.
So the COG building issue, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
is this how we're paying for the
No.
COG building? What is this
The-
about?
The COG building, so the COG owns the land
Okay.
where the COG is located,
Mhm.
where the admin offices are. The building is owned by all the municipalities
Mhm.
and was funded different ways. We paid, Half Moon, did it through 5 payments for a total of about $98,000 in 2002 and 2003. We receive every year a rent payment from the COG for the building.
Because we're part owners.
Right, because they're leasing it
Yes,
from us.
yes.
And the lease expires in 2028.
That's-
However, there's no language in the lease or in any other documents that say who owns the building at the end of the lease.
Interesting.
Or, yeah, do they need to sign a new lease? Where does it go? The discussion the managers had today with, Eric will be bringing this to everybody at the facilities and finances committees, but the managers had a lengthy discussion about how was it accounted for in your books? Is it a capital lease? Is it, like we did, as cash? So, hooray.
Interesting.
And how they're going to write off the asset or how it's going to happen. And basically, after a long discussion, we all said the recommendation is that COG own the building at the end and do with it what they will, but it's not owned by the municipalities at that point. I had Brett do a real quick calculation of what we paid versus what we'll get back.
Mhm.
And we paid the $98,000. By the time the lease is over, we will have been paid about $182.
Okay, so we doubled.
Yeah, we basically doubled the money.
Good.
Everything else in State College is going through the roof. Do you know what the value of that building probably is right now?
I have no doubt. However,
I think they ought to give us a year's free service.
Dave, I am not opposed to that. But
And then we'll sign the building over to them.
But I think all the managers have the general idea that our recommendation is that the COG own the building and that the solicitor for the COG write up stuff for each municipality to sign stating as such.
And then I think the idea was too, that we have enough time that if we have to figure out if there has to be changes in how things were accounted for, or the books to get things similar, depending on what's gonna happen at the end, then we have time
Right,
to
because
do
some
that.
people have been using this as a asset.
Right.
We did cash.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
so
not
so it's
us.
not gonna impact us.
So
We used
for
to do
us,
a
there's
lot
no,
of
yeah,
cash
there's
back in
nothing.
the day, so.
It will be more of a formality for us to sign over at the end of the lease, just basically stating that there was no provisions in the original lease, but the COG has paid back the money that we gave them.
Okay.
Is there anything else, any other notes from any other committees that you're aware of?
Just one other fun little fact.
Yeah.
We're working on the township logo.
Here's what, can you hold up the map over there?
Okay.
We had the
I was
little-
just in the office the other day signing checks,
If
and
you
I
can-
saw that little thing, and I'm like, look, that's actually a half moon.
Because we have a crescent moon for Halfmoon Township, which oddly enough.
Don't know where that came from, don't have any idea.
It's a nice,
don't know
I mean,
either.
it's a nice logo.
We had-
I think it's kind of lame, actually.
I think it's cartoony and
We
but
need a little bit modernized.
yeah. So I posted out on just Stormstown neighbors, and within 2 minutes, like 3 people are like, "Hey, I can do it! I can do it!" So we have Kelton. Oh, I can't think of his last name. It's Fedor's kid. Fedor and Tressler. But Kelton came and met with me, and he's working on getting us some mock-ups that we can all look at, and we will have a legit half moon coming.
Love it. I would love to, if we decide whatever options, post on Stormstown Neighbors, post it here and have people come and vote on it.
I think that'd be great.
That'd be
Get
great.
people involved.
Do it. Okay, love it. That's fun. I will likely not be in attendance at the general forum meeting on Monday because I'm gonna be on vacation, and if I can help it, I would rather just hang out on the beach instead of being at the general forum meeting. So, Patty, are you able to attend? I'm gonna assume Bob is. Dave?
Probably not.
Oh, come on, Dave.
Is Chuck there? So,
I'm guessing not.
So that'd be
if
the
it's-
26th?
yes.
Yeah. I'm
So we
good.
will not have, if, I don't remember I think we just got the agenda today, so I didn't take a look at it. So I'll double check. I might just be able to log in and kind of be there. But if we need a quorum to vote on anything, that's the only thing that we need to
That's
worry
only
about,
if
that we
they
have
call,
3
because if they
people.
do like overall votes and they have.
Oh, that's true, that's
It's only
fine.
if it's like a unit vote
Unit
thing,
vote,
right?
yeah, you're right. That's true. We should be fine. Okay. Just wanted to let everybody know that. Anything else for the good and welfare?
I have one thing.
Yes.
We passed an ordinance the other week on revising the setbacks on riparian buffers. And I was asked a question about that ordinance, particularly to where you start measuring from for a riparian buffer by an engineer in the area. And I couldn't answer that question. It was not something I thought about, but after I read it, I said, you know, that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. So, just to let the board know, I'm probably going to torture Denise. And I think we need to have some clarification on that because it doesn't really,
Well, it's number of feet, it's just, there's gotta be a standard place where you measure from. It's either the center of
right,
the
and
stream
I
or
don't,
the
it
stream
doesn't
bank.
say
But
the
it
top of
doesn't
the
say
bank,
where.
center of the
But
stream.
that's probably not up to our ordinance to say that. Is there a general?
I thought there is a,
It's kind of vague.
because there's charts that go with it too that give you exactly how to measure.
But what you're saying is the ordinance doesn't say how
It
we are going to
references
do
a
it?
zoning
or-
map or something, but it's not clear on the, I mean, the map's not legible.
Okay. Well, we'll let you go ahead and torture.
All right, well, I mean, I don't want to torture
No.
it out here tonight, but I'm just letting you know that the concern was brought up, and I felt that maybe we need to revisit that and make a correction to it,
Okay.
because it didn't seem to fit well.
Okay. whatever you find out.
And
let
I
us
like
know.
clarity on ordinances. If somebody comes in and, it says to the first red brick wall, then that's fine, and anybody that is reasonable can understand that.
Yep. Okay. All right, thanks for letting us know. Anything else for the good and welfare?
Just that we will be adjourning to an executive session to discuss personnel issues with no decisions to be made.
Okay,
You gotta be quick.
Yeah.
Okay.
and we do not need to come back then?
Nope.
No decisions
We
to be
can
made?
announce
Okay.
it at the next meeting.
That's right, yes. Okay, that's all. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.